Hey, what's going on? It's Gary from fitnessfirstnutrition.com, back with another video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Right now, we're going to look at a video and react to a video about some Maryland workers, Maryland state workers who are soon to be laid off. So, let's see.
With Governor Moore announcing a buyout program trying to incentivize state employees to leave, Republicans have been critical, saying this cost-cutting move should have been done sooner. Fox 45's Jessica Babb is breaking down the debate.
Republicans argue that Marylanders could have been saved from the tax and fee increases had the hiring freeze and buyout program been implemented sooner during the last legislative session when they were debating the budget. But on the other side of the aisle, others argue that these personnel cuts were included in the budget.
With a new buyout program rolling out, many state employees are now deciding whether to stay or leave.
This $20,000 buyout is going to save a lot of taxpayer money.
With state officials trying to balance the budget and make cuts to save money, eligible employees can now apply for the voluntary separation program, where they could get $20,000 plus $300 for each year of service and 6 months of health care on top of that.
This is just smart government, right? Is that you have to reduce the size of the state payroll, and that's what the governor is doing.
In addition to a hiring freeze and eliminating vacant positions, it's a cost-cutting move designed to save $121 million. But it's coming with some controversy, with a slew of Republican lawmakers speaking out critical about the timing. Senator J.B. Jennings says he brought up a hiring freeze months ago.
My thought was, hey, why are we hiring to those positions? If we don't need those people right now, if the jobs are getting done, let's forego that. I think he had other ideas of how to balance the budget, and he didn't want to go that way.
When it comes to the buyout, Minority Leader Senator Stephen Hershey argues the same thing.
This could have been done during the 90-day legislative session if and only if the Democratic leadership would have listened to Republican ideas, and we would not have to be doing this later, and we'd not have to have raised taxes on Marylanders.
But the budget that passed does require the executive branch to make $121 million in personnel cost reductions. Senate President.
So far, there's a lot of places right now. Well, there's a few places around America. You have Chicago. They have almost $1 billion deficit. It's like 724 million. You have Los Angeles that has a $1 billion deficit, and you have, this is an actual whole state, and it doesn't really say what their deficit is, but they do need to cut $121 million. And apparently they waited too long to make a decision. And when you're in a leadership position, you have to be thinking 3 steps ahead, because if you wait too long to do something, it could have ramifications that are harder to fix. So you have to be proactive, not reactive. And it sounds like, they were reactive in a situation, and, instead of being proactive, and now that may hurt the state of Maryland and what they're trying to do as far as saving money and not having to, I guess, raise taxes or take more money from the citizens to fund their government. So I do hate that that the guy he mentioned that it was the Republicans that wanted to cut. I really hate the back and forth. Republicans are always advertising, Democrats are always advertising. It's really not about, it shouldn't be about that. It should be about the people, but both sides are always posturing for their political gain, and that I don't like. But you have to make tough calls. So it's probably hard to say, hey, I'm going to fire X amount of people or X amount of people to resign. But things have to be done. Tough decisions have to be made. Government can't be but so big, because people fund the government. And unless you want to just keep just sucking the life out of your constituents, out of the residents, out of the citizens, then you have to cut the unnecessary things in government. They said they were still hiring people when that was unnecessary for things that they didn't need at the moment. So if it's not a necessity, if your job is not a necessity, then you don't really need to be working for the government, because it should be need based. Not just hiring just to hire, because again, it's funded by the people. So
President Bill Ferguson telling our media partners at the Baltimore Sun that as the budget was finalized, the legislature and Moore's administration knew there would be additional across-the-board cuts to balance the budget, and that lawmakers wanted to make sure the governor had the tools to implement them at his discretion. He says a lot of this was anticipated. So we followed up with Senator Hershey, who once again reiterated that the governor and Democrats rejected solutions to right-size state government. The other criticism, earlier this year, as President Trump took office, Governor Wes Moore was critical of the administration slashing the federal workforce.
We have seen the beginnings of a trade war, the shutterings of federal agencies, and thousands of workers laid off. These ideological moves will have a distinct impact on hurting our middle class.
And Governor Moore vowed to help those Marylanders, creating resources to help them in their job search.
We are launching a push to recruit federal workers for open positions within our state government.
But now, just months later, the hiring freeze is in place and state employees are.
And this is what happens when you play politics. So he's offering people, so the federal government is shutting employees that we believe that they do not need to save money. He's offering to take those people in months earlier, knowing you should know the financial state of your state. But you're offering to take on more people. And now look what happened. Good thing they didn't take you up on your offer. They think they have a new job in Maryland, and guess what? You got to be laid off, because this buyout is only for people who have been working for the Maryland state for 2 years or longer. So if you've been there shorter, you get the short end of the stick. They didn't mention you getting anything. Now, I would advise a lot of people to take the $20,000. If you feel like you're on the cusp, you should probably take the $20,000, because if they don't get enough people to take the resignation, then what happens is they're just going to fire people. So you can get fired and you can not get a severance, or you can take the resignation option, the voluntary layoff, I believe they call it, and get $20,000 plus $300 for every year you've been there. Not as much, but any amount helps. So that would be, and it better not be taxed. It better not be taxed. But that would be, if you're there for 10 years, it's another $3,000. You walk away with $23,000, and you have to go search for a new job. And at least you get to keep your benefits, your health benefits, for 6 months. I wish they'd have did a year, but 6 months. If you find a new job, you'll get benefits anyway.
Are being offered a buyout.
Boy, we found something that Governor Moore and President Trump agree on.
We gave the governor's office an opportunity to respond and ask for a statement, but so far we've yet to get one. We also asked the governor's office how many state employees have applied for the separation program and how many they need to apply to reach their financial target. So far, we've yet to get that information. In Baltimore, Jessica Babb, Fox 45 News.
Yeah, I wish they were more transparent about how many people need to be cut. I mean, they probably don't want the bad publicity, but you should be transparent. Right or wrong, you are a public servant. So the public should know, hey, how many people are going to be fired? How many people are going to be displaced because you work for the people? The people should know where their money is going, and the decisions that the government is making on their behalf. But anyway, I'm Gary from fitnessfirstnutrition.com. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.